Thousands witnessed it. Science couldn't explain it. Lives changed instantly. Here are the 10 miracles of Jesus, where faith and the impossible became real. In a world bound by natural laws, one man walked the earth who defied them all. His name was Jesus, and his story is filled with moments that science still struggles to comprehend. These weren't just tales. They were life-altering events, displays of a power that healed the broken, restored the lost, and challenged the very fabric of reality. Today, we're exploring 10 of these incredible miracles, moments where the divine touched humanity and left an indelible mark forever. Our journey begins with a man cast out from society, his skin ravaged by leprosy. A disease that meant a slow, lonely end. The law commanded people to keep their distance, to shout unclean. But Jesus did the unthinkable. He reached out and touched him. Imagine the gasp from the crowd. For the first time in years, this man felt a human hand, not in disgust, but in compassion. In that instant, a warmth spread through him. The sores vanished, his skin became whole. Science can explain the biology of leprosy, but it cannot explain its instantaneous reversal by a simple touch and a spoken word. Be clean. Next, we witness a scene of profound grief. A synagogue leader named Jairus, a man of status and respect, is brought to his knees. His 12-year-old daughter is gone. The mourners are already wailing. Hope has been extinguished. But Jesus arrives and speaks words that sound absurd. She is not dead, but asleep. He enters the room, takes the little girl's hand, and says, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Her eyes flutter open. She breathes. She sits up. A child, moments ago lifeless, is now alive and asking for something to eat. Medically, the line between life and death is absolute. But here, that line was redrawn by a power beyond our understanding. Now, picture a man who has been paralyzed for 38 long years. He lies by the pool of Bethesda, a place of supposed healing, but for him, it's a prison of waiting. He has no one to help him. Jesus approaches and asks a simple, yet profound question. Do you want to get well? The man explains his helplessness. Jesus doesn't offer to carry him to the water. He commands him, get up, pick up your mat, and walk. And he does. Muscles that had atrophied for decades suddenly find strength, nerves that were dormant fire back to life. He stands, he walks, he is whole. The complexity of the human nervous system makes such a recovery a scientific impossibility. Yet, it happened. Let's turn to a miracle that shows power not just over the body, but over nature itself. The disciples, seasoned fishermen, are caught in a furious storm on the Sea of Galilee. Waves crash over their boat, and terror grips their hearts. They are facing certain death. Meanwhile, Jesus is asleep. In desperation, they wake him. With calm authority, he rebukes the wind and the waves. Quiet, be still. Instantly, the raging sea becomes as smooth as glass. The wind ceases. The disciples are left in absolute awe, asking, "Who is this?" Even the wind and the waves obey him. Meteorology can predict storms, but it has no category for a man who can command them to stop. Our fifth story is one of quiet, desperate faith. A woman has been suffering from a hemorrhage for 12 long years. She has spent all her money on doctors, but she only grew worse. She is weak, anemic, and ostracized. She believes if she can just touch the edge of Jesus' cloak, she will be healed. She pushes through the crowd, her hand trembling, and her fingers brush against the fabric. Immediately, the bleeding stops. She feels a change in her body. Jesus stops and asks, "Who touched me?" He felt power go out from him. She comes forward, terrified, but he calls her daughter and tells her that her faith has healed her. It was a secret touch, a moment of profound personal faith met with divine power. From a secret touch to a public spectacle of healing. A man who is deaf and can barely speak is brought to Jesus. Jesus takes him aside from the crowd, a gesture of personal care. He puts his fingers into the man's ears, spits, and touches his tongue. Then he looks up to heaven with a deep sigh and says, "Be opened." Instantly, the man's ears are opened, his tongue is loosened, and he begins to speak plainly. The biological mechanisms for hearing and speech are incredibly intricate. To have them instantly corrected is a marvel that bypasses all known medical processes. Imagine a crowd of over 5,000 men, not counting women and children, gathered in a remote place. The day is ending, and they are hungry, the disciples have only 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish. It's a meal for one, not for a multitude. Jesus takes the meager offering, gives thanks, and begins to break it. He hands it to the disciples to distribute. And the food just keeps coming. Everyone eats until they are full. And when they collect the leftovers, there are 12 baskets full, far more than they started with. This isn't just a violation of biology, it's a violation of the laws of physics, of the conservation of mass. It's a sign of a provider whose resources are limitless. The disciples are again on the sea, this time rowing against a strong wind in the middle of the night. Suddenly, they see a figure walking toward them on top of the water. They cry out in terror, thinking it's a ghost. But a familiar voice calls out, "Take courage." It is, "I, don't be afraid." It's Jesus, walking on the water as if it were solid ground. Peter, ever impulsive, asks to join him, and for a moment, he too defies gravity. This miracle is a direct challenge to the fundamental laws of nature. It demonstrates a mastery over the physical world that is utterly divine. We now come to one of the most well-known and profound miracles, the healing of a man born blind. This wasn't a loss of sight, it was the absence of it from birth. His eyes had never functioned. Jesus makes mud with his saliva, puts it on the man's eyes, and tells him to go wash. The man obeys, and for the first time in his life, he sees. He sees light, colors, faces, the optical nerves, the retina, the brain's visual cortex. All the complex systems required for sight were either created or activated in that moment. The religious leaders interrogated him, but his testimony was simple and powerful. "One thing I do know. I was blind, and now I see." Finally, the most stunning miracle of all. Lazarus, a dear friend of Jesus, has been dead for 4 days. His body is already in the tomb. Decay has begun. When Jesus arrives, his sisters are deep in mourning. Hope is gone. Jesus, deeply moved, goes to the tomb and commands the stone to be rolled away. Then, with a loud voice that seems to echo through eternity, he cries out, "Lazarus, come out." The man who was dead walks out of the tomb, still wrapped in his burial cloths. This is not resuscitation, this is resurrection. It is the ultimate display of power over humanity's greatest enemy, death itself. 10 miracles, 10 lives forever changed. 10 moments where the laws of science and nature were suspended by a higher authority. From healing diseases and calming storms to creating food and conquering death, these acts reveal a power and a love that are beyond our full comprehension. They are not just stories from the past, they are invitations to us today. They invite us to wonder, to question, and to believe in a power that can still change lives, a hope that can mend what is broken, and a love that can make all things new. The story of Jesus the Healer is a testament that with faith, the impossible can become reality. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the intersection of faith and life. See you next time.